I always joke that I'm like, oh, I'm going to be 72 next week, but I'm getting close to that. Not to bum everyone out. I'm sitting on the full house couch. That should make up for it. Hi, InStyle. I'm John Stamos, and you're watching this guy. What are you looking at? Well, I pretty much put everything that I could think of in the book. I sort of discovered my story on the way. I set out to write like a hero story, like I did this and I did that. And then it was, I can't do this. And then it turned into a human story. I really wanted to focus on a lot of relatable issues. I mean, that people can't relate to. Well, then I played with the Beach Boys in front of 1 million people. But they can relate to heartbreak. They can relate to losing people in your life. They can relate to being cheated on. You know, and it happened to me, you know, a number of times. And, you know, it's just, it's life. You know, when I got divorced and my dad died, it was a very difficult time, obviously. And everybody rallied around. I said that I sort of got Full House over the years. Oh, I get it now. I'm at peace with it. And I really wasn't until I wrote the book. Writing the book is what really made me realize how important the show was to people and ultimately how important it became in my life. I did 2 chapters of Full House. The first one was mainly about Bob and I, who, you know, we just had such different ways of working and living. But then just writing that second chapter about what the show means to people and what it ultimately meant to me it wasn't a show about one character, it was a show about love. These critics out there were so savvy, you know. I get it, I agree with you, it was sappy in places, but what you don't get was what was underneath it all. You put the brain aside for a minute to let the heart come up. The Olsen twins were in New York and we were here, and there was a bit of a, you know, a distance between us. Bob was always connected with them, and I was too, and I know, you know, they had looked like I was upset that they didn't do Fuller House and stuff. But when Bob died and they came back, oh my God, it was so beautiful. They said things to us that meant so much to all of us, that they loved their childhood, that we were such a big part of their lives, and they are who they are because of their upbringing on the show. What is a bit heartbreaking is that Bob was the glue to all of us. Even just the 1.5 years that he's been gone, you know, we're not together as much. The thing about losing people that I've found is like, we have this right now. Like, be here now. Tomorrow's never promised. Bob never left anything on the table. Every time you talk to him, he said, I love you, I care about you, I'm proud of you, whatever. If I had one, I always just say this, if I was hanging up on a cliff, on a branch, I had one phone call, it would be to Bob. And he probably wouldn't be there, and then I'd have to call back. And he called me 16 times. Are you still alive? Are you still alive? You're hanging in the thing? I'll be there. I'll be right there. I got a thing in there. He was very busy all the time. He would call and say, hey, I can't talk to you. I'm too busy. Like, you called me. You know, you have to talk about people that are passed away because that's how you keep them alive. Not only did I never think I'd write a book, I was adamant about it. You know, I had a kid, they were coming at me. No. Then when Bob died, I thought, I want to talk about him. I want to tell everybody what they don't know about him. I want to tell everybody how important he was.
How long is this segment? Like when you air it, like 2 minutes? I wanted to play music, but I'm not a good singer. But rhythm I got. You know, I understood movement and rhythm. But I used the rhythm in my acting. As I talk, I always had a rhythm going. And sometimes it's different, sometimes off, sometimes in. The acting kind of came up first, and then I really wanted to play music on TV, and I was on General Hospital, and one Sammy Davis Jr. was on. He could tell, I think, that I was a real musician, that I understood music anyway. We had this scene where I was playing I was emceeing this talent show, and so, but he said before we did the scene, he says, yeah, just do what I say, man. Just do what I say. Like he was gonna ad-lib something, I guess, okay. And I went up, I introduced him, and then he says, Blackie, you play drums, right?
But I also found out that, Blackie, you play drums, don't you?
And it's totally, you could see that it wasn't blocked, there was a drum set there, there was a piano there, and he just starts playing. 1, 2, 3, 4. I started off kind of, like he was playing, and then he kind of threw it to me, and I just did some kind of crazy. And I could see him looking at me, he's like, okay, he understands music. And that was it, I played music on TV ever since. Taylor Hawkins lived down the street, and he died not long, you know, the Foo Fighters drummer. We moved in right before the pandemic, and so we'd send video, like, drumming videos back and forth to each other. And like, here, you learn this lick, here, this lick.
Okay, I don't know what you would call it. Some sort of inverted triplet.
Right.
not it.
That's not it. It makes it harder.
To the snare as well.
Isn't that cool? He was cool. Every night at the Beach Boys show, I try to solo. I try to do his. It's hard though. That's for you, Taylor. This was from Bob. I didn't know it, but his wife gave me this. It was in his office that this was his favorite character. It was a time when people didn't realize the worth of these things. This is from Disney, from Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. He's driving his car on the train tracks, and a train hits him. Did you see that? And then he goes to hell. Not the biggest kid-friendly ride. This is I have a drum head here, and it's hard to see because it depends on it. It's signed by John Lennon. It does connect me to that place of just happiness and joy. And these are Elvis's glasses, which I probably shouldn't call him a pirate, right? These are his, I never really, you know how people like they hit their head and all of a sudden they could speak another language? I got COVID and all of a sudden I became a painter. Before I got COVID, I thought, I want to learn to watercolor maybe. And I got some, it's like, oh, I made a giraffe. But then I get COVID and all of a sudden, like, I could just all of a sudden paint. I could start getting the faces. And I started drawing people. This is Jamie Lee Curtis. This is my niece. I drew this for her. This is my son. Did this. This was the Arc de Triomphe. You know, we stayed at Versailles, Greece, and you get it. So in the book, I talk about hummingbirds and how hummingbirds could be like someone coming back from your past. And my mom kept every note you'll see, and it says, life is an occasion, rise to it. Don't be sad because I died, be happy because I lived. I had a wonderful life. Amazing, right? So I made this for Caitlin. When I first met her, she said, I want to travel. I said, done. So I kept I put like all the travel stuff in, and I saved all the texts, and I was looking at the texts and the pictures from all the Disney World was one of our first trips, but these are all just pictures of our trips and all the things we did. This is Bob's guitar. God gave me. I try not to play it because all you can play is dirty songs. You know, obviously it gave me a chance to honor the people that have been in my life, or we've talked about. But you know, you could only do so many like Instagram posts and you know, this like surfacey bullshit about you, you know. And I thought, you know, it's time just to fillet myself open and be truthful and let people into it. You would have told me that I'd be doing a long form interview with InStyle magazine at my house. And then you go like, well, if you would have told me, like, would I have done anything different? And there's always movies and, you know, TV shows and whatever that time travel. And the protagonist always ends up going like, no, I think it's better right here. And that's me. I'm overflowing with gratitude, and I hope that comes through in this interview because I am one lucky man.